Some actors and stunt performers take it to the next level, risking real injuries, real danger, and sometimes even their lives to get the perfect shot. Today on Popcorn Primetime, we're counting down the most dangerous movie stunts ever performed. These aren't just stunts, they're moments of real-life daredevilry that became cinema history. Let's dive in. When it comes to stunts, Tom Cruise treats his insurance policy like a napkin. In Mission Impossible Fallout, he insisted on doing a rooftop chase sequence himself. The stunt involved sprinting across London rooftops, leaping from one building to another. On paper, it sounds simple, but in reality, it went horribly wrong. Mid-jump, Cruise miscalculated the landing. He smashed into the side of a wall and broke his ankle. The sound of the impact was real, caught live on camera. Here's where it gets crazier. Instead of breaking character, Cruise dragged himself up and limped through the rest of the scene, knowing the cameras were rolling. That's the exact take you see in the final movie. Production was shut down for 7 weeks while he recovered, costing millions. But Cruise said the stunt was worth it for the authenticity. Jackie Chan has built an entire career on risking his life for entertainment, but Police Story took things to another level. In the film's climactic scene, Chan slides down a 5-story pole wrapped in real electric lights, smashing through glass and metal on the way down. Sparks fly, literally, and Chan falls through a glass ceiling at the bottom. The injuries were brutal. Second-degree burns from the hot lights, a dislocated pelvis, and severe back damage that still causes him pain today. Here's the thing. Chan did the stunt multiple times because he wasn't happy with the first take. The stunt team nicknamed him the human crash test dummy, and honestly, he earned it. Long before special effects, silent film stars performed real stunts, and none were crazier than Harold Lloyd's clock tower scene in Safety Last. Lloyd really hung from the hands of a giant clock, 12 stories above Los Angeles. The set was built on the rooftop of a real building, and though there was a platform just below the camera's frame, one wrong move would have meant certain death. What makes this even riskier? Harold Lloyd had only one fully functional hand during the shoot. He had lost 2 fingers in a prior on-set accident involving a prop bomb, so he wore a prosthetic glove during the entire clock sequence. It's one of the most iconic shots in cinema, and one of the most dangerous stunts ever performed in the early days of film. At this point, Tom Cruise could have his own most dangerous stunts list. In Ghost Protocol, Cruise scaled the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the tallest building in the world. He really ran along the glass windows of the 130th floor, performed jumps between ledges, and hung off the side of the skyscraper, all at over 2,700 feet. The crew designed special suction gloves and custom harnesses just for the stunt. But Cruise insisted on doing the climbs himself, with no stunt double. At one point, director Brad Bird said they were filming while sandstorms rolled in, adding extra risk because the building became slick. Cruise simply wiped off his shoes and kept climbing. Not all dangerous stunts involve heights or cars. Sometimes the danger is right there in the special effects. Margaret Hamilton, who played the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz, performed her fiery exit scene, disappearing into a trapdoor with smoke and flames shooting up around her. But during one take, the trapdoor didn't open in time. The pyrotechnics went off early, setting Hamilton's green copper-based makeup on fire and giving her third-degree burns on her hands and face. She spent 6 weeks in the hospital recovering. And when she returned to the set, she refused to do any more scenes involving fire, which, after nearly burning to death, seems more than fair. The chariot race in Ben-Hur is still considered one of the greatest action sequences ever filmed, and it was almost deadly. Stuntman Joe Knutt, doubling for Charlton Heston, was driving a real 4-horse chariot at full speed when his rig hit a ramp wrong. He was flung out of the chariot, bounced off the yoke, and somehow managed to grab the reins and climb back in, all while the horses kept running. This wasn't scripted, it was a real accident caught on film, and director William Wyler decided to leave it in the final cut because it looked so spectacular. Knutt survived with just a cut on his chin, but the stunt is still shown in film schools as an example of how close stunts can come to disaster. James Bond movies are known for over-the-top action, but this one was real. In Live and Let Die, Bond escapes a villain's lair by running across the backs of live crocodiles. No tricks, no CGI, just real reptiles. The stunt was performed by Ross Kananga, who owned the actual crocodile farm where the scene was filmed. It took 5 takes, and during one, a croc snapped at his foot and tore part of his shoe off. Kananga eventually pulled it off, sprinting across the crocs with his feet barely touching each back. It's one of the most ridiculous and genuinely dangerous stunts ever pulled off in a Bond movie. In Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof, Zoe Bell plays herself, and she really did the stunt you see on screen. The scene involves her clinging to the hood of a Dodge Challenger, speeding down the highway at 70 miles per hour while another car rams into her vehicle, trying to knock her off. No CGI, no green screen, just Zoe Bell strapped to the hood of a muscle car, with director Quentin Tarantino insisting on practical shots only. The danger was so real that the crew held their breath during every take, but Bell nailed it, and the sequence became one of the most intense stunt scenes of the 2000s. Buster Keaton was known for doing insane stunts, but this one is legendary. In Steamboat Bill Jr., Keaton stands perfectly still as a 2-ton house facade collapses over him, with only a tiny open window keeping him from being crushed. The margin for error? 2 inches. If Keaton had been slightly off his mark, he would have died instantly. Keaton later said he was so depressed that day, he didn't care if the stunt killed him. Fortunately, it didn't, and the shot became one of the most iconic moments in silent film history. For the top spot, it has to be Tom Cruise again, because no stunt matches this. In Rogue Nation, Cruise hangs onto the side of a real Airbus, a 400M military plane, as it takes off. No green screen, no visual effects. He's actually strapped to the side of a plane flying at 150 miles per hour, thousands of feet in the air. The crew did the stunt 8 times, adjusting the rigging and fighting wind conditions. At one point, a piece of debris hit Cruise in the chest during takeoff, and he nearly lost his grip. He later admitted he was terrified the entire time, but it's exactly that real fear that makes the scene so unforgettable. It's one of the most dangerous stunts ever performed by an actor, and it's all there in the final cut. And that's our list, so thanks for watching. Which stunt blew your mind the most? Did we miss one that deserves a spot? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And for more movie lists, behind-the-scenes stories, and insane cinema moments, subscribe to Popcorn Primetime, hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next video.